League of Hashinshin.
What is League of Hashinshin? There's another YouTube channel that just posts my shit? Okay, let me actually explain this, because I'm going to explain to you guys a problem with champions like Caitlyn that happens all the time. Basically, there's overpowered picks in the game, okay? And these overpowered picks, Riot tries to make less auto-pick, right? They don't want you always picking Kai'Sa and Xayah, right? So what do? They buff Caitlyn, and 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 they buff Caitlyn. And then they eventually say, you know what, Kai'Sa and Xayah are overpowered. Why don't we just nerf them already? Well, what's the problem here? Well, eventually you end up with a champion who can compete with Kai'Sa and Xayah. Yeah, but why? Why can Caitlyn compete? Because she's so balanced and well-designed? No. Because they just kept buffing her. So once they nerf Kai'Sa and Xayah, what happens? My question is, why can Aatrox's kit be countered by a single 800 gold item? I think the problem with Bramble Vest and Executioner's Calling isn't that they exist. It's that you don't have to give up enough to get to them, and they come out too early in the game. I think Bramble Vest should be increased to 1200 gold. Should build out a chain vest and then 400 more. I think Executioner's Calling should build out a pickaxe, and it should be 1200 as well. I'm okay with them existing. I just think they're too easy to build and come out too early in the game. Especially when you consider that most champions with healing and shit in their kit don't start getting enough healing to beat healing reduction until 11, about. Mundo and Aatrox both don't get enough shit until later on in the game. The one exception, I think, being Fiora. But Fiora is like the one exception to fucking everything at this point, isn't she? At the very least, her champions like Mundo, Aatrox, they don't start getting enough healing to beat anti-healing until later on. Ow. You know, the thing I don't like about Senna basically this. Basically the fact that she just slowly gets stronger over the course of the game for this simple function of attacking people. Swain gets 5 health, and to be honest, Swain, that's kind of like his kit, right? Like, it feels ingrained into Swain, so to speak. Like, but with Senna, it kind of feels like bonus bucks, you know? Like with Swain, he sucks early game. Very weak. With Senna, though, why is he so fast? What the fuck? Can he proc his passive like 9 times in a row or some shit? Okay, if we're starting to compare champions to Nasus, we're probably not gonna have a good time. A champion designed for League of Legends 2010 is probably not a good comparison to modern day League champions. Just thinking that one out loud. Oh, that blew up. I really think Stark's Gauge needs a buff. It either should have its cost come down to 3,000, or the duration before the decay should be increased a little bit. I feel like it's super cheesy, actually, that the best way to use Sterix Gauge is to just combo it with a Death Stance, so that you basically force Sterix Gauge. You basically force it to eat a shitload of damage. Huh. You want me to, this plan has a few flaws, but I'm willing to try. I mean, if everyone else wants to try, you know. Okay. Well, it worked. If it works, it works, you know. Maybe I should get the Syndra. I think both of them played decently, at least, you know. Really? Not what I imagined. I feel like Aatrox looks so much better than he is because of a few fuckeries. Aatrox, even when he's doing poorly, tends to have really high damage. But why does he always have high damage? Like, even when he's doing poorly, he'll be second or third damage. But I feel like a big reason for that is because the way he functions, he tends to generate a lot of health and stay alive and fight for a while. And he then generates a shitload of damage for the opposing team. And then he generates a shitload of damage for himself. But was I really doing that much damage that game? No. Aatrox is not a high damage champion. So I wasn't really doing that much damage. But I had a lot of damage. Oh, yeah. No. You can definitely see that same thing when you play a champion. Like, how many of you guys have played a champion like Mundo? And you've got like this super mega fed 80 carry on your team, but you out damage them in the end game stats? Like, how many times you guys played like Maokai and you've got like the second highest damage on your team? Are you really doing that much damage on Maokai? No, you're fucking Maokai. But what are you doing? You're living so long that you're just kind of hitting people a lot. And they're hitting you a lot, and you're hitting them a lot. And nobody's dying, but you're adding a lot of damage in. Well, I think Ornn actually does a good chunk of damage. The problem with Ornn has a lot of damage, but he has very low kill potential. Ornn is a problem where he very frequently chunks people down, and then they walk away. Teemo is the same thing happen, where he does a shitload of damage every game, but it's for a different reason. It's the same reason as Ornn, actually. He tends to chunk people down, and then they just walk away. But Teemo is even worse, because he'll hit people who aren't even going to die. He'll hit someone with a trap, get an extra 800 damage, and then they'll just like walk over to a minion wave and heal to full. And then they'll do it again. And then they'll do it again. And then they'll do it again. And actually, that's the second reason why Aatrox's damage tends to be inflated. Aatrox tends to Q spam into team fights and hit a lot of people. But the thing is, he'll hit a lot of people who will never actually die, or are shielded, or will heal. So he'll hit them, he'll do damage to them, but it's meaningless damage. It's damage that didn't contribute to a kill. If they really wanted to push a damage, like a post-game damage stat that was like relevant, I think the way to do it would be to make it so you have a way to track damage of a champion. For example, if you hit a champion, but then they healed to full, or if you dealt damage to a champion who is shielded, it wouldn't count. Now, that might give you very fucky stats where, for example, you're hitting Aatrox, and Aatrox out heals the first bit of your burst, but then gets killed. But then the person who did the first bit of damage counts as doing no damage. Or potentially, yeah, damage within, let's say, damage within 10 seconds of a kill. Any damage you dealt to a champion that was within 10 seconds of a kill. So not laning damage, not split push, poke 'em down damage, not Xerath Q spam damage, not Teemo trap damage. Damage that basically led to a kill.